Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Seesaw. So I know a lot of you have been playing around with Seesaw, using it this year, even in the spring, at the end of last year when we switched to our full remote in the spring. So I'm going to go over the basics fairly quickly. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I will slow down, go back, I will repeat. And then probably about the second half, the last 15 to 10 minutes or so, it'll be questions, things that you guys are having trouble doing, things that are not working, things that you want to do, but you're not sure how. We'll dive into that. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm sure you guys hear that a lot or say that a lot. And I'm going to go to the Seesaw website. There it goes. All right. And I'm going to switch my account. There we go. All right. So this is what Seesaw should look like for you. You should have your dashboard over here on the right-hand side. You should have your name up here on the corner. If you click on this, you'll see any classes that you are a teacher of, and you can always create, well, yeah, you guys can create new classes, I believe. We did upgrade at the beginning of this year to the Seesaw for Schools platform, which is a little bit different. It offers you some different functionality, a little bit more stuff you can do. So for that to work, everything kind of has to be rostered through your school admin, which for Seesaw is me. That was that funky dashboard you saw when I first logged in. So anytime you get a new student to your class, even if that student is coming from a different teacher, if they're switching from hybrid to full remote or the other way around, or whatever the case may be, new to the district, I need information from you guys to get those kids into your class. I need their name, I need their email address, and I need their SASID. So after I have those three things, I can plug them into your account. You can remove kids from your account. Okay, so if, for example, I know earlier we had a situation where one kid either moved from or to Miss O'Sullivan's class. Let's say that student was moving out of her class. She can go into her class and remove that student, but I need to add that student into the other teacher's classroom. So I just need those three pieces of information. If you're a specialist, okay, you can go into X2 and you can do a giant import. There should be a field set called Seesaw. I made it just for you guys. If you click Seesaw and do an export, it'll give you all that information about those kids in all of your classes. Just send that to me and I will split the kids up and make your classes for you. So I think that's it about that. Once you're in here, the main thing we're using this for is to send our kids assignments. And the way you do that is to click this big green add button here in the middle and do assign activity. And the first question I usually get is, I don't know what activity I want to assign. I need to create something. You create it through the assign button. So once I go to assign, it's going to give me different libraries. So this is my library. These are activities that I've used or I've saved. I have a school and district library, which are activities that are created by other people in the school that I'm assigned to. So I'm assigned to Woodland. We don't have Seesaw for schools, so that's why this looks different than what you guys might see. But it should have all of the activities that your colleagues have created with each other. I can also look at the community library, and this will show me things all over Seesaw. Any teacher who uses Seesaw, it'll show me different activities that they've made. And I can search and I can filter up here by grade level, subject. I can type in keywords. I can find whatever I want. So let's say I want to do this place value activity. I can click into it. I can look at it. The directions are here. I can hear the directions. This is what the students will work on. If I like this the way that it is, I can go ahead and assign it using this green button over here. Our videos might be sitting on top of it right now, but there is a green button over here. If I like it, but I'm not sure I want to assign it quite yet, I can give it this heart and just say, hey, I want to come back and look at it later. If I want to share it to someone, so if I know, for example, Laurie Delaney's been working with Place Value with her reading kids for whatever reason, I can share this with her. I can click on this and I can send it right to her and have her take a look at it and say, hey, I think this might be a good one for you. So I'm going to add it to my library. Okay, so here it is in my library. And if I go back to my library button, here it is right here. And it wasn't here before. Okay, so I'm going to assign it. I can pick which of my classes I want to assign it to. I can decide who in that class is going to get it, but I'm just going to go ahead and assign it. And it gives me a little reminder of how the kids get to it. So now if I go back to my classes, up here in the top, it says back to class. Those students now have that activity right here. It'll show up for them to add a response. Okay.
Sarah, can I ask a question?
Please.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was trying to get your attention before and I didn't get it. When you were talking about the classes that the students are in, I was watching one of my students on Go Guardian as he was logging into Seesaw, and I noticed that he's also a member of a 3rd grade teachers class up at Woodland.
Okay.
And I emailed her, but I haven't heard back. So is that probably because we both have students with similar name and her email got sent to her invitation, maybe got auto populated to the wrong person?
It's very likely. Why don't you send me an email with the teacher's name and the student's name and I'll look into it.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
Nope, that's fine. All right. The other really cool thing about Seesaw, one of the biggest complaints about Google Classroom is that there's no demo student. There's no way to show the students what it looks like on the student side. Seesaw has that. So what you do is when, let's say you're on Zoom and you're showing, okay, guys, we're going to do place value basketball today. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's what you're going to do. You as the teacher on your teacher screen are going to click add response. And from your students, you're going to click sample student. We're going to pretend Jane is a real student. We all know she's not, but we're going to click sample student. So it shows me what the students see. So I can listen to the video, I can view the instructions, I have all the student tools here, I have all the same stuff that the students are going to do, and I can complete the activity as if I were a student, and I can show it to them on Zoom. So I can say, hey, this is what it's going to look like for you. And when you're all done, you're going to click the check mark. It's going to get turned in. Sample student turned in his work. Woohoo, good job, sample student. Now it's your turn, guys. Now you get to go do this, and you can send them back into the waiting room. You can break them out in breakout rooms, however you do what you do, but you have a way to show them what they're going to do so that they can actually see what it's going to look like on their side. Questions?
Sarah, where was the add response? Where is that again?
So if you go to activities, right here.
Oh, right there. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So depending on your settings, I know a lot of us have it set up on the student side so that they can only see their stuff. We don't have it set up so that they can see each other's things. So when they're in journal, they're going to see all of their work. So right now I see everybody's because I'm the teacher. But if I were signed in as Jane, I would only see Jane here down the center. But if I click on activity, this is where I see the activities that need to be finished. And that's where the add response button will be. They'll actually have like a little red circle. It's called a badge to say, hey, you've got 5 activities you need to do, or you've got 10 activities you need to do. So they have a little red reminder on top of the light bulb to show them how many to do.
Sarah, can I ask a question?
Please.
The journal that you just went on, if they have I just say I send work back to them.
Yep.
What do they see? Do you know if I want them to work on something again and it's in their journal?
So if you give it back to them, so if you like have returned it to them, I think that's it. I think there's like a draft or something that you have to do to get them to keep working on it.
Okay.
Trying to remember what it is.
So I know I make comments and I'll hit send back. And then they somehow get to work on it, but I just don't know what it looks like for them.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what. I can play around with it and let you know. You know what's really good? If you go on YouTube,
yeah,
and you search for the Seesaw channel, they have their own channel of all their little videos. They have some really great videos of what it looks like on the student side.
Thank you.
Yep. What else? Anything else?
Sarah, is there a way? I have some students who love Seesaw. And I know I can go in under each activity and click it and see who's done it and not done it. But can I go into a student's journal and find out like, oh, they have no more activities left, or I should be assigning them more? Or how can I see because we have a Seesaw activity time. How do I make sure that there's not?
I don't think there's a way to see, just kind of clicking around here to see. No, I don't. So like you said, when I look at the activities here as a teacher, when I click on activities, I can see how many students have turned it in, how many are waiting to turn it in, how many kids have started working on it but aren't finished. So I see all of these stats here. I don't think there's a way to kind of flip it around and say, okay, Johnny, how many activities does he have open or anything? I don't think you can do that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Sarah, if you actually click on the activity, it should bring up the list of kids and who handed it in and who didn't.
All
Like
of their
actual
activities
names.
that they have?
I believe so. Click on, yeah, I've done it. So it should pop up with every student who's either handed it in or not handed it in.
Right,
So
but
you
she's
should be
looking
able
for
to
a
see.
running list of, let's say, all of
Oh.
Johnny's activities. Like out of all 10 of these
Got it.
activities, does he have any left to do? I don't think there's a
Okay.
way to see it that
That
way.
out now.
Can't you go into their journal? Can you click into their journal?
So you can see what they've done, but she's looking for a way to see what they still have to do.
If you click on Jane, you can't see all her activities?
You can see what she's finished, what she's turned in. So Jane's turned in these activities, but there's nothing telling me Jane still has to do place value basketball.
Right,
I
that's
feel
what I'm
like
looking
Dee
for.
Rizzio knew how to do that. Is Dee Rizzio here?
I don't think so.
No, I remember her saying somehow she had a way to check up and notify parents, your student's missing X number of Seesaw or something like that. So I think it's possible.
I don't know. Let me play around with it and see.
Thank you.
Yep. What else, guys?
I had a question.
Yep, please.
I had I had a couple of students that I tried to send, when you can look at their responses and you could give a message back, or I forget what they call it.
It's a response. Yep.
A
Like
response.
feedback.
So
Yeah.
I recorded a response.
Mhm.
What does that look like on the student end, and what happens after that?
And how did you record the response?
All right. So let's go
Honestly, I
here.
don't remember now. I remember doing it. I don't remember how.
So I pulled up an activity that I know eventually should load. Come on. Or not. Let's try a different one. Try this one. All right, here we go. So Jane did this assignment. If I click on Jane's assignment and I'm looking at it, down here at the bottom of her response, I can comment. And next to the comment bar, there's an audio button. So I can leave a voice comment. So just like the students can record their work, they can talk about what they did on the screen, you can leave a voice comment as well. So I have to allow my microphone. All right, so Jane, you did a great job. Make sure you remember to finish all of the problems you forgot to do the last one. It's gonna save it. Eventually. I'm going to check. Yes, that's the comment I wanted to give to her. So now that comment is right here. It floats here. Oops, guys are sitting on top of my box. So now I have all these different options, edit it, QR, all that kind of stuff to give it to them. Okay. So then Jane, I believe, if I go to her journal, it was this one. She should see my comment here at the bottom and she should just be able to click on it and listen to it. Hit the play button. Jane, you did. Okay. So it shows up just like you see it in the journal when you're looking at the journal, theirs looks the same in the journal.
Can I ask another question?
So they have to know to go check the
Please.
journal.
What was that?
They have to know to go check the journal.
Yes.
Will it make a little red, anything for them to know something's there or no?
Jen, does it give them a notification?
So I end up telling the families every night, I just send something on talking points, please check your child's journal because I send a lot of work back. I think they can see a yellow or beige line through it, but if they're not brought, if you don't tell them to do it, they're not going to see it and notice it.
Yeah. And if I know Jen uses it almost every day, she uses it multiple times a day. So if you just build a routine too, like we check it every morning, like our first 10 minutes are, going back in and checking Seesaw. Like maybe you just build something into your routine where you go back and check your assignments together or something like that. Depending on your kids. I mean, you know your kids better than I do. So what's up, Miss Jen?
When you say I'm looking at one of the math assessments on Seesaw, I've been voicing comments. Look at number 1 and go back. And is there a way to circle it and show them or mark it? I couldn't figure that out.
I don't think so, but let's look. Where'd James go? I was like, because I checked it already. This one. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Yeah. If you go into edit post, you can add the same things the kids can, but then you have to tell them to go back in and look at it again.
Oh, great. Thank
So
you.
over here in those 3 dots, you just have to click edit post.
Oh, so you can't
Okay.
circle it and send it back?
What is that?
You can't circle it and send it back. You'd have to circle it, check the check mark again.
So I have mine set up that the kids have to ask for approval. So once it's approved, they can't, they can go in and edit it, but it really, by making them wait for approval, if I see some glaring errors in what they're doing, I can always send it back to them with those comments of check number 5, make sure you did number 2, stuff like that before I approve it. Once I approve it, it's kind of done. It's like, that's it. So if you have it set up for approval, you can add those pieces of comment and go back and fix and do and that and have them redo it and then approve it once they finished everything they were supposed to finish.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sarah, going
Yes.
back to the notifications that they were talking about, my son's school uses Seesaw,
Mhm.
and I get a notification every time something's added to his journal, if the teacher sends me a message or if an activity is added, I get a notification.
So that works if we have it set up for the family piece. Not all of the teachers have the family piece turned on. So you would have to go into your settings over here into the little wrench, and you would have to add families, and families would have to kind of agree to it and provide their email address and allow that piece to be turned on. So that's not something that we mandated. We were using it more as just an LMS similar to Google Classroom, and not every teacher started that part.
Got it. Thanks.
Nope, thank you.
I have a quick question about removing a student. I went to go remove a student and then I thought, what happens to all of their stuff in their journal? Is it just gone?
So it's gone from yours. It's archived in their account.
Okay, so whatever new class they went into, it will pick up.
So no, because that teacher probably has different assignments, but on our administrative stuff, we have yearly portfolios of our kids. So like, I know sometimes, for example, you're a full remote teacher. Let's say they switched over into one of the hybrid teachers classes, right?
Yeah.
Even though you can't see the work they did with you and the hybrid teacher can't see the work they did with you, on our administrative side and our yearly portfolio for that kid, all of those pieces will be there.
Okay, I was afraid to hit the remove button until I knew what
I
was
mean,
gonna
if you're
happen.
perfectly okay with, having that one kid who's, not responded and want to just leave their stuff in there, you totally can, but you don't have to.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anything else?
Sarah, can I catch you after? I still have 2 of the same student in my class.
I have 2 more sessions. So if you want to send me an email or if you want to sign up for a Zoom, I still have to do the other 2 sessions this afternoon.
Okay.
Sarah, I have a quick question. If you add an activity that you got from the community or like that someone else created, you can't actually edit that activity.
You have to make a
Like,
copy of it.
how do you do that? Because like sometimes I want to add like a voice instruction because my kids can't read. So like to read the directions.
Hold on. I gotta move you guys. You're sitting on my thing. All right. So if I go here and I add an assignment. Maybe. There we go. Excuse me. Here we go. All right, so these are all assignments that I found from somewhere or another. So even this one, the place value basketball, if I click into it, guys are there again. Now that I've done the heart and I pulled it over into my library. So from the community library, you can't do this. You have to add it to your library first. If I click on these 3 dots, I can copy and edit the activity. So it's not going to edit this original version from Andrea, but if I click copy and edit, I now can change the directions. I can change, maybe I don't like her voice directions, or I want to edit the template or whatever it may be. I can do all of that. Maybe I don't want to include any of these directions. Okay, and I can save it.
That's so cool. Thank you.
And then in my library, I now have 2 versions of it. One that's owned by her and one that's owned by me. So now I could actually take this one out of my library if I wanted to. That way I wasn't getting it all confused.
Is there also a way in your library to organize by like topic? So like if I had a bunch of sight word things and I wanted to keep those together, because I find that I'm just like hearting a bunch of stuff that I like, and then it ends up being like an awful Pinterest board. I can never find anything.
So when you click on this pink heart, oops, come on. It actually allows you to make collections. So you could have a math collection, a place value collection, a US history collection, short vowel sounds collection. You can make all different kind of folders. They call them collections, but it's essentially a folder, and you can collect those activities. So as you can see in this little kind of, it's not really a screenshot, it's like an animation. You can make different topics, and it'll keep track of how many activities you have in each one. So if this one I did place value, there's my thing, it's in there. And now I can see that collection. This is how many activities I have in that collection.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yep. Anything else, guys?
I have a quick question, Sarah. Is there an easy way to find another educator on here and browse their stuff? Because Mary Borst and I do a lot of the same stuff, and she has to individually share I just can't find her. I didn't know if that was an option.
That is an excellent question. Let's see. Nope.
Can you make her as a co-teacher?
I don't exist.
I don't think that's it. I don't know if you could do co-teachers across buildings.
Oh.
What I found, Sarah, is like sometimes find an activity of someone I like, and I could click on
The little
that person's
circle.
picture. I can't seem to do it for anyone in our district.
Let's see.
Yeah, also like as an ELL teacher, I am curious what the first grade teachers are doing, so I could, do something similar or not the same.
Yep. All right, so here's why I think. We have Seesaw for Schools, which allows us to share activities among each other and have this school library. people who post in the community are what are called Seesaw ambassadors. So they've gone through a whole training program. They've been approved. They, give PD on this stuff. That's why theirs are clickable. They're kind of like approved contributors. So for example, anybody who's posted in here, Miss Claudette, the one I just clicked on, you can kind of go to them and see all of their stuff. But unfortunately, because you guys are teachers and not ambassadors, you don't have a collection of stuff like the ambassadors do here. So I think the only way to get stuff across buildings like that is by just sharing the individual activities one at a time. Or in this school/district library.
How did they get into that school district one? Because like I can see activities because
Yeah, I can't find anything in my school library. I mean,
So I'm an ambassador, so my account's a little bit higher than your guys's, which is why I have more stuff here. I think when you guys click this, you should only see your school. So if I was in Memorial, I would only be able to see the Memorial stuff.
Is it only things people have made? Because Caitlin is the only one who shows up.
Yes, it's only stuff they've made. So it's not going to be stuff that they got from other community members.
So is it made? Like, because I copy someone's and.
So it looks like copy, because I don't think we have a Nastasha or an Andy Leiser in Memorial. I could be wrong, but I don't think we do. So these are all Kate's. Carrie Taylor, Jen MacArthur.
So Kate Manos and I have made some, but they're not in there, like for ELD. Do we have to put them in
You
there?
might have to add them. There might be like a check button that says add to the district library. I'm not totally certain.
I think you have to put them there. I think they don't automatically go there. I think they automatically stay in your library if you made them. But to share them, they have to be in the community one.
Correct.
So
I think.
Sarah, if you're a co-teacher with somebody and say I'm a co-teacher with you and you found something from the community and hearted it and liked it to your class, could I then go to your class, heart it myself, and then it would show up in my library under my class, or would it still be in your class?
I believe when you heart it, it goes to your library. It doesn't matter if we're co-teachers or not.
Okay. All right. Just curious, because some of the co-teachers that I work with find some awesome stuff and then I can't ever go back and find it. So I was like, I wonder if I just heart it and then it'll put it into my library too.
I think it should. Yeah, it should.
Sarah, if I want to go in and make a copy of my kids' assessment they did in math, can I do that? I know you probably already said that 12 times, but I just tried and I'm not sure if I'm not.
So if I go here and I look at Jane's, oops, she did not respond. Get out of here. All right, here's Jane's. There is a way to print it. So when you go in to see their response, if you go to these 3 dots, you can print it out. And when you print it, you can just print it to a PDF. So you don't have to like actually print it out on paper. If you just want a digital hard copy of it, it opens up into this PDF window here. And so you could either just save it or you could physically print it out onto paper.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, guys, I actually have to jump into the next training. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. We can set up a time to work one-on-one if you like. Or if you just have a generic question, I know there's a couple of you guys on here that use this every day, multiple times a day. Feel free to reach out to each other. And like I said, the Seesaw YouTube channel is amazing. They have a ton of great stuff on there, so feel free to use that too. All right, bye guys.
Thank you. Thanks again.